The struggle continues for the tourism sector amid this COVID-19 environment, but Bay Gardens has opened another one of its properties. General Manager at Bay Gardens Hotel and Inn, Cheryl Gustav, says as one of St. Lucia's oldest locally owned resorts, management and staff are ready to serve clients once more.
One would recall that the Bay Gardens Hotel and Inn at one point served as a medical facility during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic in St. Lucia. However, Bay Gardens Hotel and Inn officially reopened its doors to visitors on Thursday, 17th September 2020. The occupancy rate at the hotel is at 15%, despite the fact that they only reopened last week. Directing Manager Cheryl Gustav says all staff are not yet at work. However, the hotel has a shift system that allows them to employ as many as they can, given the circumstances being faced at the moment. She says the hotel, which prides itself on providing an authentic St. Lucia escape and experience, has passed all tests and has been certified by the Ministries of both Health and Tourism.
Whatever we learned from the medical facilities, Bay Gardens being a medical facility, we incorporated it into most of our protocols. This is child's play again. Because if you have to have every myth in your head, whether you go in this life, you need to ensure that what you say out there is what you do. Bay Gardens being a quarantine center would be just like you visiting your mother or your grandmother for a while who you have not seen. The protocols came into play. The Ministry of Health actually did the very best by sending the FDL to sanitize the place. The whole place was sanitized, rewashed. Everything in the room, from the drips to the furniture, was cleaned. So there's no fear. So anybody having fear of saying, I don't want to come to Bay Gardens, I need them to know this is one of the best property locally owned on island that you can come to.
Gustav says staff members are more than happy to be back at work and they are on the ball when it comes to adhering to COVID-19 protocol.
Before COVID and everything, we always had high standard when it came to training. With protocols now in place, our team members, as you may have noticed earlier when you walked through our property, our team members were being trained. We didn't put on a training because you were coming, but this is what we do every day. We retrain. Before our team members came back, we felt them. We sent out a survey to find out how they were doing. Did anyone need counseling? So as an organization, our directors, owners went above and beyond to ensure that the mindset of our team members were in place to come into the new normal. Opening Bay Gardens has been one of the most exciting venture we have done in a while, meaning that we've been closed and we were not accustomed of being closed. And suddenly we went through our protocols and we passed on the first try of just putting the protocols in place for the Ministry of Health and Tourism. So we set our date, which was the 17th of September, and our first set of clients came in on the 17th of September. To date, my team are more excited than I have ever seen them before.
Hot 7 was able to speak with a brother and sister duo from the UK who are currently staying at the hotel.
After using the pool, etc., in the night from where I am, everything's always wiped down. I feel at ease. I think the only thing which everybody has to obviously adhere to is wearing a mask. And for everybody's safety, apart from that, it's a lovely experience. The only thing is obviously slightly quieter, but that's good as well.
I'm going to reiterate everything that Ronald said. It's been really nice, and knowing that we came, I think, 2 days after it opened, everything has just been on point. Staff have been really lovely, welcoming, very friendly. Honest, it's been quiet, so I don't mind taking a sabbatical. Yeah, and being in quarantine here, but also with the temperatures, they come round, they call you, have our temperatures taken twice a day. Staff are very friendly. Even though it is quiet, they've been saying to us we can use the other facilities, there's other things that we can do. The meals have been lovely, and yeah, it's been good. Just waiting to see my mum. We're in quarantine before we go and see her, but other than that, it's been beautiful.
The hotel is hoping to see occupancy increase gradually and assures that operations will continue with the greatest commitment to health and safety. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
As the island continues to see roads constructed, paved and rehabilitated all over, it is being questioned whether these roads are only being built for vehicle use. After the first consultation with executives of the Rodney Bay Road Rehabilitation Project, Sean Compton made the observation that very little consideration is being put in place for pedestrians when roads are being built. Hot 7 TV also reached out to the National Council of and for Persons with Disabilities to find out whether this is a registered concern for them and what exactly they would like to see done to accommodate their members.
Roads are being rehabilitated and constructed throughout the island. The latest project presented to members of the public is a concept to change the road network from Rodney Bay to Roselay. Following the first stakeholder consultation, Hot 7 spoke with Sean Compton, who was in attendance. The architect by profession said he has observed that of late, roads are only being built for the motoring public.
What we have right now is we're designing for cars, and we're not designing for people. We're not designing for pedestrians. I'd like to see minimum standards for sidewalks of elevation and width, how they would work. Just help decent pedestrian flows. It's a flat area, so you can have decent pedestrian flows from Roselay all the way down to Rodney Bay and back. In the winter season, you see a lot of tourists moving up and down or trying to walk up and down the area. And that allows flow of commerce and benefits for vendors and malls, shops along that route. I'd like to see more thought given to pedestrian flow. I'd like to see more thought to make it a little more future-proof as well, because now we're seeing increasingly abroad the increase of electric personal mobility vehicles, so small personal vehicles, and cycling, those kind of things, and there's no accommodation for that. And we need to start looking at future trends and how these are going to work here and how that's going to affect us.
Following Compton's comments, Hot 7 reached out to the president of the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, Maphilius James, who says this is a significant issue for people with disabilities and pedestrians in general.
We have a vested interest in ensuring that our members, persons with disabilities, senior citizens, parents with baby strollers, anyone who has a physical or even intellectual challenge is able to use comfortably the infrastructure, especially public infrastructure. We have heard the concerns of various pedestrians that there are certain sections of roads where they, as persons who walk along the roads for exercise, for leisure, have great difficulty using these areas because there is not adequate sidewalk. Now, imagine if this is a concern of persons without disabilities, that they do not feel safe, they do not feel that there is adequate sidewalk to allow them to safely use the road. Imagine the issues that a wheelchair user would have, someone with physical disability who needs a little more space to comfortably navigate to access public spaces.
James says the council is a strong advocate for inclusivity when it comes to infrastructural works.
We will continue to urge and to advocate heavily for governments, for private, public developers to always keep persons with disabilities and special needs in mind, that we have consumers, tourists, customers with disabilities, parents with babies on strollers who need to have the adequate infrastructure in place to allow them to safely access certain establishments. We have always lamented that our pedestrian bridges, our walkovers, are inaccessible to wheelchair users, persons with severe arthritis, people who cannot comfortably use steps are at a great disadvantage in the walkovers that we have in the north of the island. This is something that we need to address, because it just means that certain bus shelters, certain business places have just been made inaccessible to wheelchair users who cannot safely cross roads.
He vows that the council will continue to clamor for the rights of people with disabilities to have access to roads, sidewalks, and business places. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Like the name suggests, the creative industries is overflowing with talent, innovation, and expressiveness. Image consultant Vanessa Henry Long sat with Hot 7 TV News to explain what image consulting is all about and how her business survived through the tough economic climate brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We live in an era where having a great fashion sense seems to be a must. While some people are naturals, others need a little help getting there. One innovative and skilled young entrepreneur has decided to offer up her services in the field of image consulting. But what is image consulting? Makeup artist and owner of Lovely Makeup Artistry and Image Consultancy, Vanessa Henry Long, explains.
So image consultancy is basically a profession that deals with the appearance, behavior, and communication aspects of the individual. It's managing that, improving that, and refining that for a client, whether it be a personal client or a corporate client. So that's it in a nutshell. Now, when you hear of the ABC of image consulting, that's where we speak about the appearance, where we go into grooming, the makeup, the styling, and of course all the glam things. Then you hear of the behavioral aspect, which we go more into the personal aspect of things. So there you talk about the individual etiquettes in terms of their mannerisms, their values. So we speak of that in the behavior. So we look at managing that for our clients and helping them refine this. So then you have the communication now. Of course, everybody knows what communication is, right? But then when you look at the nitty-gritty of basic communication, we speak to the vocal ability, we speak to the body language in terms of understanding and being self-aware of what your body is saying.
She says this profession is one where she is able to help individuals recognize the best versions of themselves. She explained that the advent of COVID-19 provided businesses like hers in the creative industry an opportunity to explore new ways to showcase their services and products.
COVID came, I'm not happy with it, but I'm happy with what it has done in the sense where shake up some stuff, remove you off your comfort zone, realize that there are avenues that needs to be tapped into, of course, like the web, the World Wide Web. So, for example, there's image consulting takes place not just on a one-on-one basis, but now can take place over what we call webinars or via Zoom meetings or even through video calling with a customer. So whereas before you would thrive and focus on more doing things from a personal one-on-one level, right now COVID has kind of shaked up things. So it has allowed businesses like myself to be a little more innovative in the product that we have and not just focused on the negative aspects of it, but how can you make your product better, more sustainable with everything that is happening around us.
Long says she is very aware of the adverse times that business places and young entrepreneurs are facing right now. However, she advises that they remain persistent as well as continue to work on their craft as well as harness their talents. She says, as with everything, there will always be detractors and there will always be bad days. However, people, especially youth, need to ensure that their passion for whatever they do is enough to help them wait out any storm that comes their way. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
The Republic of China on Taiwan has lent support to the Grosley Constituency Council in its efforts to upkeep the environment in Rodney Bay. The Embassy of Taiwan donated EC $5,000 for the procurement of garbage bins for the Rodney Bay area.
The Embassy of Taiwan to St. Lucia has made available EC $5,000 for the procurement of garbage bins for the Rodney Bay area. Grosley Town Mayor James Edwin received the check for this sum from Ambassador His Excellency Peter Chen on Friday, 18th September 2020, in a brief ceremony. The ambassador was pleased to support this venture, particularly as St. Lucia recoups from the effects of the pandemic, welcoming visitors once more to the island.
On behalf of the people and government of Taiwan, I feel very honored to attend the ceremony today to showcase our commitment to the people and government of St. Lucia. As the world gradually reopens in the wake of COVID-19, it's important to remind the world the beauty of St. Lucia and Grosley City. To show the world that Grosley residents is getting ready to welcome visitors with open arms and clean streets.
Also on hand Friday was Parliamentary Representative for the area, Honourable Leonard Mantut. He expressed gratitude to the government and people of the friendly nation for their continued shows of support to St. Lucia. He implored patrons to use the bins that will be placed at strategic locations in Rodney Bay.
I want to take this opportunity to make an appeal to my people to utilize those bins properly and ensure that we see a marked improvement in the environment, not only to make Ambassador Shen and his staff more comfortable, that it makes a statement about us as a people and how we observe proper hygiene practices, good health, and show a level of respect and appreciation for our environment.
Parliamentary Representative for Grosley, Leonard Mantut.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. Sports and weather are coming up after the break.